I'm about to teach you about 5 of the most difficult badges in Apex Legends history. Now, these are badges that only players who are on the highest level of play have acquired. In fact, it's very likely that nobody in the audience actually has any of these. Well, maybe one of them, which is the least difficult to get out of these 5. And is still to this day the only one that you can actually get. 4 of these were all in the past, and you can no longer ever get them again. In fact, it seems as we're moving forward, badges are actually getting easier to get. So in this video, we are only concerned about the 5 most difficult, and if you have any of these, let me know in the comments down below. I want to know about it. This is your chance to brag a little bit about these badges if you have them. So let's get right into number 1. And that is the Wild Frontier Champion badge in its 5th tier. Now, this was way back in Season 1, and this came in a whole bunch of tiers. And in order to acquire this badge, you had to win 50 games on 7 different legends during Season 1. Now, that's already a huge deal if you were able to get 350 wins during the season, and 50 of them being on all different legends. But take this into consideration too. Season 1 was only 92 days long. Now compare that to Season 3, which just ended a couple weeks ago, which was 127 days long. So you had almost an additional month and a half. Congrats to all of the players who were actually able to get the Wild Frontier Champion badge, as that is one of the rarest and most difficult to get badges in Apex history. Now let's take a look at the Absolute Monarchy badge. Now this was a badge that you got during the Iron Crown event way back near Season 1. During this event, there was a solos mode that ran for 2 days. And in order to get this badge, you had to win 10 games, and every single win had to be on a different legend. Now, at the time of the Iron Crown event, there were only 10 legends, and those of you who remember that far back know that Gibby and Caustic were terrible back then. Nobody would touch them, and so you had to win games with them in solos mode. Imagine being a super nerfed version of Gibby going up against super overpowered wraiths, because that's how the meta was back then. Now moving on to the next badge, we have the bonus round Season 1 level 2 badge. Now that's a mouthful, but what's even more impressive is that to get this badge, you had to deal 250,000 battle pass damage with 9 different legends. 250,000 damage with 9 different legends. That's about 3.5 hours a day for 3 months to get that badge, and those hours were split up among different legends. So basically, if you weren't around during Season 1, it was a very different battle pass. So there were win bonuses for your XP and kill bonuses and all that, but you actually could log 25,000 XP worth of damage a day on the legends, and you could do this retroactively if you missed a day. So say if you missed 3 days of Caustic, you could make up that 75,000 damage, but that is a lot of damage to do just in those 92 days. And remember, as I was saying, there were only 10 legends during this time, and you had to do this with 9 different legends. So this is an incredibly difficult badge to get. I would make a pretty safe assumption in saying that there are under 1,000 players with this badge, and I think that is a very liberal guess. But now let's get into the only badge on this list that you can get to this day, and that is the 4K damage badge. And now you might be thinking, well, I see players with this badge all the time, and if that's the case, you, my friend, are suffering from a severe case of the SBMMs, because it's very difficult to get the 4K damage badge. In fact, you can drop a 20 bomb and still only have 2,000 damage or 2,500 damage. You have to average 200 damage a kill to get the 4K damage badge if you're dropping a 20 kill game. In most cases, you're gonna have to deal between 300 and 400 damage a player unless you're planning on dropping that 20 bomb. So even though you see this badge more often, I think a lot of it is from artificial buffing or just from the fact that the game has been out so long and you're being matched with top tier players. Now let's get into potentially the most difficult badge in Apex Legends history to get, and that is the 888 badge. I've seen maybe 3 or 4 players in my 5,000 games with this badge, because that's just how rare it is. Now, way back towards when the game launched, we had this mode, and it was a very interesting, unique mode, and it was elite queuing. Now, what elite queuing was is kind of like a ranked system before ranked existed, and it was a limited time mode where if you placed top 3 you would be put into a game next time you queued up with all players who were in their top 3 from their previous game as well. And to get this 888 badge, you had to be in that elite queue, and you also had to win 8 games with 8 different legends, and every one of those wins with every one of those legends had to have 8 or more kills. Now this is an incredibly difficult feat to win 8 games in that kind of competitive environment. And now remember, skill-based matchmaking definitely was not as refined, or it didn't even exist back then. So you were getting thrown into the mix with all of these players, and you didn't know who you were going up against. You could have been going up against Shroud for all you know. So for the people who got this, major congratulations to you. That is a massive feat. Now guys, I have been promising the capital city hiding video, and I promise that is going to be coming out soon. I have some really exciting stuff in the pipelines though, so if you liked this video and if you enjoy the content that I make, feel free to join the club, and you can do that by hitting the red subscribe button right underneath this video, and like the video if you enjoyed it. That's going to be all from me guys though, so thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel, and until next time guys, take it easy.